right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for coming out tonight. I am Amanda Letty. I'm one of the assistant principals over guidance and curriculum. So when we start thinking about graduation and we start thinking about secondary, post-secondary opportunities, things of that nature, we want to get together to help make sure that all the information is out there. Y'all know kind of what to expect. This year is going to go by fast, and senior year will go by even faster. So we want to make sure that we're meeting with you, giving you a chance to ask questions, but also provide as much information as possible so that you can prepare. We have in the guidance office 5 different guidance counselors that are divided up by the alphabet. We have 2 that are with us today. Miss Barnhill, she serves the part of the alphabet that is D through HI, and Mr. Ireland does ME, last names, of course, through SA, Mesa. So they're here to present to you and to answer any questions that you may have. Please ask anything. Nothing is too simple for us. That's what we're here for. Last year we did this meeting a little bit later in the spring, and some of the comments were, "Oh my gosh, I wish I had heard this sooner." So we want to make sure that we're getting the information to you in a timely manner, and then you can prepare a little bit better for that senior year. So they're going to talk to you about the academic side of what to expect in the next year and a half. And then we'll talk also a little bit kind of what else to expect as a senior so that you can have a good preparation so you can start preparing now for it. I remember when my daughter went through it her senior year, I had no idea. And I didn't know how expensive it was going to be. I didn't know all the things that were going to come up. How much to expect in terms of college visits and everything that was coming up. So I think this would be a good opportunity to get that information out to you. So right now I'm going to turn it over to our guidance counselors.
Okay. Good evening. Hi, I am Mr. Ireland. One of the, Ms. Letty said, one of the guidance counselors. I am new this year to Milton, but I'm clearly not new to this because I've been around a while. I was down in Orange County for a large number of years in a couple different schools. So the general idea kind of done that, but the specifics to Milton I'm still learning. So, but I'm very happy and excited to be up here. So thank you for coming, and feel free if you want to take pictures, screenshots of any of these. I will tell you though, the one you definitely want to take will be at the end, and that is with the remind codes. And then once you take that and sign up for Remind, if you send it to us, we will send this PowerPoint to you. So feel free to take pictures all you want, but if you just want to wait for the PowerPoint, go ahead and do that on Remind. If you only take one screenshot tonight, make sure it's at the end so you have the Remind code if you've not signed up for Remind yet. All right. So getting started, graduation, and I hate reading it, but I'm kind of sort of on some of this, and I'll add it, but I want to make sure we cover everything. 4 credits. When you do the credit check for this class, starting for this year's juniors, a year or 2 ago, maybe 3 recently, there was another requirement that was added. So you still have your 4 English, your 4 math, and 3 science, along with the 3 social studies. Those have to be specific social studies. World history, American history, those are each a full credit, and then a half a credit of American government and a half a credit of economics. And as usual, your fine art, practical, CTE type class, CTE and art, fine art, that could be band, chorus, art. The CTE, we have ag, and I'm probably going to miss something, but ag, culinary, those are like your CTE classes, okay? You still have to have your hope, but notice that 0.5 credit in personal finance. Congratulations, juniors. This was the first year, and the 9th and 10th graders need it. This is one that was required, so you still need a total of 24, but instead of 8 other electives, in addition to 2 required, you have 7.5. They took one of the original 8, like if you know seniors or had a child who graduates this year, last few years, that personal finance was not a requirement. That is, you all were the first class for that. So that, and they do, that class is also offered with Santa Rosa online. If you like a lot of people like to do the Hope online, the personal finance is one they tend to offer a lot too. So when you look at the graduation tab and focus, when you graduate, all of those checks will be green. You'll know you'll have your diploma. This is just the example that even I can't see that well, but like for a junior right there, you see the X where it says U.S. History EOC. Most juniors, if you look at your child's DRAD tab and focus, that's not going to be a green yet because you have history. You take that EOC at the end of the year. All right, for terms of the FSA one, for the, it's like the English, if you will, the reading, hopefully, if you're an 11th grader, that green check is there. If not, it means you still have to meet the requirement. There's tests that you'll see here a little bit, various ways to meet that requirement, as well as the Algebra 1 EOC, that's a graduation requirement. You will take a history EOC, a biology EOC, that, and a geometry EOC, that gets averaged into your grades for those classes. The ones you have to have passed for graduation are the ELA, English Language Arts, and your Algebra 1 EOC.
Real quick, notice that there's a red X there by U.S. History EOC. That can stay a red X and they still graduate. So there are the first thing says statewide requirements must pass. Those have to be green checks. The next one says statewide requirements must attempt. So they have to take those. They don't have to pass those to graduate. We can't do it here because this is a screenshot, but on yours, if you hover over the red X, it will say attempted, not passed. Or it'll say not attempted. Now for U.S. History, if they take U.S. History at PSC, then they don't actually even have to attempt it. So those that where it says must attempt, they might still be red X's, but everything else has to be green checks.
For the, if you're interested and you're going to apply and qualify for the Scholars Designation Diploma, you do, even if you take it at PSC, have to take that History EOC. We're throwing a lot of abbreviations at you, but sorry. Just so that's clarity, if anybody wants the Scholars Diploma, you do have to take that, so that would need to be green checked as well. Well, that, okay.
It's a sticker.
So the other requirements. The 2.0, unweighted, not weighted, but unweighted GPA. And then, as I said, these are all the different ways and different tests that you can take, and the scores have changed for this year for some of the different tests. A couple, they go up and they go down. A lot of it, especially with the CLT, they are doing what's called norming, because it's a pretty new test. So these are all of them up there. I'm not going to read them. Again, you can take a screenshot if you want, or at the end, if you want this, you'll get it when we send the PowerPoint out. But these are all the different ones. There's the actual FSA, ELA, the FAST, SAT, ACT, the PERT, I believe, the CLT that's on there. There's different ways to meet the requirement for each one. It's just, it can get very confusing because, to be honest, it even kind of confuses us half the time as to what test and the scores, and they change. But that's for this year. So you can take a screenshot of that real fast, or it'll be coming out. So what do you need to know now? As we talked about testing, the biggest thing is the first step is to make sure you graduate. So meeting your Algebra 1 EOC requirement through the EOC or the various other tests, and your ELA requirement for the testing. There are also other tests depending upon what your path is going to be. And there's about 10 different paths that you can take. That's going to be a specific conversation with you and or your child with their guidance counselor, whether it's ACT, SAT, depending upon where you want to go after high school, what route you want to take. If you want to, there's be a mention up here of the ASVAB if you're going in the military. So when it says testing, there's lots of different tests out there. Each person will be in their own unique situation, right? Just because your classmate takes the SAT, maybe you do better on the ACT. It's just going to depend. That's where you need to have those discussions with parents, with your children, with your student or children, and with us. For visits and college recruiters, we constantly have recruiters coming on campus. I told the seniors this, and I'll tell this to the juniors, especially the actual students in the room. You walk into the cafeteria at lunch. I know you are very mission focused. Get food, get table, talk to friends. And that's great because that's what lunch is supposed to be about. But take literally 15 seconds every day you walk in that cafeteria, look straight ahead. If there's a college sitting over there that you're even remotely interested in talking to, the college reps, please, that day, take 5 or 10 minutes instead of, I know friends are important, but it's worth it to talk to that college rep. That is how we do that here with college reps. We have them come to the cafeteria during lunchtime so everybody has a chance. We don't have to call them out of other classes and have them miss classes and all that other stuff, academics. That's where you're going to talk to the college reps. So they will come visit. This year for the seniors already, we've had PSC come and UWF come in the last 2 weeks. They've done their application day on our campus. That's something to look forward to next year for seniors. They always come and do that. Those two in particular. And just a real quick, well, that's coming up, never mind. All right. Looking at scholarships, dates, and requirements, we'll have a slide coming up that has some scholarship websites that you can go to, talk about like futures. Start working on your college, thinking about your college essays now. Don't be that senior because, guys, I'm telling you, senior year, it happens fast. And a lot of the applications for, especially for what's called early action, early decision, are due as early as October 15th. We already are after October 15th. So if you're a senior and wanted to apply for that, you've already missed it. Start this summer. A lot of applications for many colleges. We were just at a thing for South Alabama today. Remember when, they opened their applications definitely like August 1st for this year. So start thinking ahead. Get your essays done over the summer as much as you can. Please do not wait till senior year starts. You're going to be stressed. There's so much going on last year, last homecoming. Start working on it over the summer. Cannot stress that enough. Teacher recommendations. Do not wait until, and counselor too, especially counselor. Do not wait until October 10th to ask your counselor next year to write your recommendation. That will not go over well. Ask at the beginning of the year. We have a form that the guidance departments had where we ask you to tell us about yourself, especially for someone like me who's new. That was very helpful this year. Some of you juniors, hopefully I'll get to know you a little bit better next year, but we can't know everything about you and everything you're involved in. Come to guidance and get those forms and fill them out. The more you put down about what you do, don't be humble. The more that you put down about what you do, the more we can put into your letter of rec. Not every college needs one, but especially if you're using something called Common App, there's always going to be at least one that needs it usually. So plan on having to do one of those for college, for teacher and counselor recommendations. If you're an athlete for NCAA, NAIA, I've handled that a lot before, but my previous schools, but the one that does it here is Miss Barnhill. So you want to give your words of wisdom on that real fast?
I would just say if you or your child's not here, anybody who thinks that they may play sports in college, we really need to know. We really needed to know before this year. But they're very specific on the courses that have to be completed by the end of junior year. So if you think that your child may play sports in college, they have to come, tell them to come tomorrow to talk to their guidance counselor and let us know. And then they can make their account in those and everything, and it'll come to me and I'll do the schools portion of it. But we have to check their courses because if they don't decide until next year, even if they get everything together, they take 20 classes next year. If they didn't complete a certain set of classes by the end of junior year, they are not eligible for sports in college. So if you think that you have an athlete, please tell them to come tell their guidance counselor.
Yeah, if there's any remote chance. My oldest daughter's playing soccer at a D2 school in West Virginia. Thankfully, not necessarily me, but her counselor had made sure she had everything in line that she needed. It's very important. They've gotten rid of the test requirements for NCAA, but now they've replaced it with certain classes and academics you have to have. So make sure you do that. Again, GPA, that just is a continual thing. Checking your credits, review transcripts on Focus where you can see that. Schools, in terms of visiting now through summer, spring break in particular is a really good time to take a road trip. I did that for 2 years with my two daughters. It was an experience, but I tell students and parents, especially students all the time, do not apply to a school if you've not set foot on that campus. If it's too much of an issue to get to the campus, maybe that might not be the right place. I've had students when I was down in the Orlando area, no lie, they went to Philadelphia to school, to Syracuse. Guess what? January, it's really cold. They did not stay. By the same token, I have a nephew in Wisconsin who wanted to go to Florida. He came in August and said, not a chance. I can't deal with the heat. So it goes both ways. please visit the school, make the effort, and go spring break. A lot of times those schools may or may not be in spring break, so you'll go when there's students there, you get the full experience of what it's like on that campus when students are there. If you can't, if you have to go on a Saturday, life happens, but if you can, but definitely spring break and summer, early summer, to get a feel before you start applying. Don't set foot on a campus without having visited. Okay, everything looks great online. They always put their best smiley face forward on their virtual tours. There's no substitute for being here. Bright Futures, we're going to go over some of the requirements in a minute, but just so you understand, okay, we send that electronically. The first run goes. The only thing you'll have to do in your senior year is to sign up or register through the state of Florida. If you qualify, you qualify, but the first run, if you don't, you don't. The first run goes electronically. You don't have to actually send your transcript or do anything. The only thing you have to do, I think I'm writing this, is make sure you apply to at least one Florida school so your transcript goes to Bright Futures. That's right.
So your test scores.
Your test scores and all that stuff. Yeah, your transcript goes, so your test scores go there. And then that last one is very important because we run into this. It says be very careful and selective in picking your senior classes. There's the old adage of, oh, I want my senior year to be fun. Now, while we're not trying to be buzzkills, if you want to go to a top, whatever you define, everyone does it themselves. If you're a Florida fan, you say Florida's top tier, FSU, whatever you define as a top tier school. You cannot just take easy classes and coast your senior year. Does that mean you take 8 AP classes? No, you don't do that either. But you have to have a good mix because those colleges, your grades, you're applying to colleges based upon your grades, not necessarily test scores, that's part of it, but they know those will come in later. But your grades, your GPA at the end of this year, that's what you're applying with. The colleges are going to ask what classes you're taking your senior year. And if you tell them you're doing 4 PSC classes and 2 AP classes, and then all of a sudden at the end of the year they get your transcript and you've not done 4 PSC, you've done 0 and 1 AP class and whatever else, they can, I don't know if they will, but they can pull your application. I've seen that happen in my experience. Clearly we don't want that to happen. And just because AP calculus is hard, don't ask your counselor your senior year to take you out because that's not going to benefit you. Did you want to elaborate? You talked about that. Is that enough? Or?
That's enough, yeah.
Okay, so just make
But
sure.
I will say one of the things, we go to a lot of trainings with the colleges and the people who are actually looking at applications and doing the acceptance. And the number one thing that they say they hate to see is a senior who didn't take a math.
That, yes.
So even if you've had 6 math classes, that is one of the first red flags for them is a senior who didn't take a math class. So a lot of seniors, they're ahead because they may have started math in middle school, and so they have all of their math classes. They do not want to see any senior take an easy year, but the first red flag of that is they didn't take a math. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so you had talked about the Bright Futures and that they would need to apply to a school earlier in the year for their scores to go in.
No. So to get Bright Futures, Bright Futures is everybody who makes it gets it. So if every senior in the state of Florida met the criteria, then every senior gets it. It's not a competition, which is great. So all your kid has to do is earn it. So they have to, which we'll go over the requirements for it. They have to earn Bright Futures, obviously. They will have to apply for it. It opens October 1st of their senior year. The application takes about 5 minutes. But in order for theirs to be processed through Bright Futures, they have to apply to at least one Florida public school.
In their
Before
senior
October
year.
1st.
No, just during their senior year.
Okay.
So the application opens October 1st. They will have all the way, technically, I think it's until August 30th after they graduate. But don't put it off. It opens October 1st. It takes 5 minutes. They just need to get it done. But then at some point in their senior year, they have to apply to at least one Florida school. Okay.
All right, speaking of Bright Futures, thanks for the segue. There's 3 different types. There's the Florida Academic Scholars Award. This is the 100%. Note up there the different scores, they've been adjusted. I just did this yesterday and looked at the Florida DOE website. Those are the correct scores. They have to have the scores by August 31st. Generally, students will have that, but SAT, ACT, they do summer tests even after your senior year. So don't wait to make that the first test you take for so many reasons. But there are students every year, a handful, that do get it based upon that last one. Notice in 3.5 GPA, this is not for graduation, this is for Bright Futures. This is what they're going to count, those specific courses right there. And 100 hours of work or community service for that, okay?
Just take note that the Bright Futures GPA is going to be different than their GPA and Focus. GPA and Focus has every course they've ever taken, PE, any electives or anything like that. Bright Futures is going to throw out their electives. They don't care if they make an A in weightlifting. They want to know what they're making in English, math, science. So their Bright Futures GPA will be different. Your students will be handed their Bright Futures summary, a printout when we register them for classes in the spring. So in March, April, when we meet with them, we'll meet with them one-on-one. We'll kind of talk about their future plans and we'll help them pick their classes for next year. We will give them a printout that tells them what their Bright Futures GPA is, what they're lacking to get which level, all of that, they'll get it. But just make sure you know if they have a 3.5 in Focus, it's going to be lower than that Bright Futures, or it's unless they have done really poorly in electives and made all A's in academics, which does happen. Typically, their Bright Futures GPA is a little lower than what it is in Focus.
Then the next level for the Bright Futures, it covers 75% of the tuition. Again, notice the same classes, just the 3.0 GPA. The community or work hours difference is 75 hours, not the 100. And different scores, again, scores by the 31st of your graduation year, so 2027. Now the gold seal, that is the vocational one. And this is a very, very busy slide because they really break it up. This is intended for those students that are in CT, Career and Tech Ed, CTE type programs that are going on to get a 2-year degree from like Pensacola State, Northwest Florida College, State College, that sort of thing. Laughlin, they have the outfits, they've gone there. Notice, again, I won't read it, but it's a lot of different scores. For this one, you can use the PERT test. Notice the hours, it's 30 service, which means volunteer hours, or 100 work hours. That's the one that separates it between the other 175 of each. This does separate it. Again, this one will count for performing arts, I hope, 16 core. The important thing is on the right side, second to last line, 3.5 unweighted GPA. If you do a Laughlin program, you're there for 3 periods. You get 1 grade for all 3 periods. If you get a B in HVAC, that's not going to be the 3.5. If you get the A, it is. But if you did like culinary 1, culinary 2, culinary 3, you got 2 A's and a B, that's a 3.5. So you have to figure that that's a 3. Notice there's 2 different GPAs going, 3.5 in your vocational program credit. So again, I know that's a busy slide, but there's just a lot more. It actually helps the students usually by averaging in these other things.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
On the 100 hours of work or 30 hours of community service, is there a deadline that they have to have that done by?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, but
Yes, our counselors don't work over the summer, so it has to be in by we usually say May 15th,
Yeah.
so that the counselors can get it in before they're gone on summer vacation.
So for the junior, you would have to have it May 15th.
Of the
Of their
senior
senior
year.
year.
Of their senior year.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like my son has completed all his hours already, so those papers, does he just need to come he can bring it in now or should
Yep.
yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Please do.
Please
Sooner
do.
the better.
Yes. Please tell your child to bring their hours as they get them.
Okay.
They're much more likely to lose them. If they bring them to us, we put them straight in, and then we put them in their file, their cumulative file. So definitely, because a lot of the kids will lose them and they'll say, oh my goodness, I had 70 hours on a paper and I can't find it. Just, it doesn't have to be full. It doesn't have to be completed. Just they need to bring them to us as they get them.
Yes, ma'am, over there on the
So I
right.
have a log, y'all got the log?
The log is
Yeah.
in guidance and they can just come up. If they don't know right now where to get it, if they just go up to the front desk and say what they need, she'll show them where to get it. And then after that, they can just always just grab them when they need them.
Yes, right.
Yeah, there was.
So I had like 200 service hours, and I submitted it in a slide, but it never went through to like the portal.
What do you mean you submitted it?
So what?
Where did you submit it?
I handed the paper to the guy. It was probably my end of sophomore year.
Who'd you hand it to?
The front office, I don't remember who the person was.
Like the
Okay.
guidance front office or the
Yeah.
front?
Yeah, the guy.
All right, you need to come see us, and we've got to
Yeah.
try and do some digging.
They may be in there and you just don't see them.
Yeah, go, you need to be seeing your guidance counselor more than when we call you anyway, you'll see that. That sounds like a good excuse to just go make acquaintance with your
Yeah,
guidance
just
counselor for a
come,
couple
just
minutes.
come see us and we'll look. Cause I think the kids don't really know exactly where to find them in the computer.
Which don't feel bad, because it took me forever to figure out where to go to put them in, because Focus has a lot of different parts to it.
Yeah.
So my son's been in beta since middle school. So do all of those hours count towards the 75?
Yep.
And also he has been volunteering with the Train Museum in downtown Milton. Do those hours count as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Get
And
them
then we would just
documented,
need,
get them on the paper and get them in.
okay.
And somebody has to sign off on them, so if
Well,
it's at the train
yes.
station, somebody's there, you'll just need somebody to sign off on it.
I know the beta sheets have somebody that signed
Yes.
off, so, okay.
I have it all logged. I'll just try and get it done as I can.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, testing. We talk about testing a lot. These are just various dates, so you know what's coming up. There's the PERT, especially if you want to do PSC classes. You can use SAT or ACT, but also the PERT is one if you get their qualifying scores. They set, well, actually the legislature, but sets the scores, and then the state colleges use that to see what classes you qualify for. I won't go into detail, because if you score certain classes, you have to get a score to get in all three sections in order to be able to take stuff, and then others, that's an individual conversation. But note up there, you'll have your history and geometry. As far as I can tell, I didn't find the exact dates yet, but those will be usually in early May. AP testing is posted. If you're in the AP class now, that's going to be, each specific test will be on a certain day, but that's the test window that I'm looking for. On the right side, the outside of school testing, again, I just looked at that here this afternoon and got it off of those. PERT will be determined. ASVAB, if you're interested in the military, come to the guidance front desk. We have the sign-up sheet there. Just because you take the ASVAB does not mean you have to go in the military. However, if you score high in certain sections, the military will call, but that doesn't mean you have to go in, okay? I did for 25 years. It's a great decision. It's not for everybody, but there's no harm in taking the ASVAB. They're not going to hound you. The PERT, the CLT, those spring dates, you see those dates up there. Those are also on the ACT, SAT website.
And one thing to note, the ACT, every junior in the school will be taking a school day ACT on February 24th. It is what they take normally on the Saturdays, but it's a free version. So the state pays for it and covers it. It is a college reportable test. It's a lot of the students' first time that they've ever taken that standardized test, but we will do it here in school, regular school day type testing for that one, and it's completely free.
That's SAT or?
ACT.
ACT.
And just backtrack real fast, she said something that triggered a thought. For Bright Futures, they will super score your SAT and ACT. So if you take this ACT in February, you score real high in math, but not so much in the others, and then you take it again, they will super score, which means take the highest from each section. All right, different opportunities here. As we've already kind of mentioned, Lachlan, for high school, they have different programs for when you graduate, if you go. But these are the programs they have, and I just got verified on their website this afternoon to make sure, to do high school dual enrollment. And then there's the PSC and UWF dual enrollment. Again, for UWF, you have to qualify with an SAT or ACT. I don't know if CLT does it or not for UW. CLT score, but not the PERT. For PSC, you can use the PERT. So in the AP classes, as of now, for this year, we have 16. We're kind of waiting. We may have more next year. We'll see. So nobody asked, but the big debate between what's better, AP or dual enrollment, the answer is it depends. Each student is individual. I am a big proponent of dual enrollment. Some others, administrators, are AP.
I am both. I am
So,
both. And my child
well,
took both.
It
And
depends. Mine took a mix too. My
Yeah.
oldest one, my younger one was lazier. But anyway, it just does depend. So that's an individual conversation as well. Opportunities here at Milton, we have for the requirements for Lockland, the 2 GPA, this is to do their dual enrollment. The application is usually in spring. Yeah, okay, they come bring us that in spring. Dual enrollment, you see, I've already kind of talked about for rolling admission for that, I've already mentioned. Right, things to think about. A lot of this we've already.
Electrical program,
Uh-huh.
will he be guaranteed the second year?
He's not guaranteed, but he's given priority. So the
Okay.
only reason they would not accept him is number one, if his GPA went too low, if he fell below that, or if he is lacking too many classes to graduate. So they have to have 3 holes in what they're required to take, so that they have room for Lachlan. So if he, for some reason, still needed 4 classes, then they would typically kick him.
But if we know
But
that.
other than that, he'll get priority.
That's a great online class for him to do. And
Yes.
that's, if that's a situation,
Can we take that anytime though?
yes.
Yep.
And we don't, make sure you do Santa Rosa online, not Florida virtual. So we keep it in-house, that's another story. But we do not want, and if you want to do Lachlan as a senior, start looking at your credits now. We don't want anybody to not do it because they need a class. That would be tragic if you could otherwise qualify. Don't count on us. We try our best. We are human. We do miss stuff. It's your life, mainly talking to the students that are here. If you want to do Lachlan, make sure you are on track. Basically, most students that do Lachlan, the 3 classes they'll have here will be their English, because they need 4, math, they need 4, and their Gov and Econ, because that usually is a senior class. If you have anything else outstanding, you better get to your counselor sooner rather than later to see how you can get that other class done, probably online, if you really want to do Lachlan.
And I'm going to interject right there for a second. One class that our seniors don't always count on that we put in their schedules is if they have not passed the reading requirement for graduation, they automatically have intensive reading added to their schedule. And if they haven't passed the math requirement for graduation, they have a senior math class added to their schedule as well. So that can hinder some of our Lachlan applicants who haven't met that graduation requirement. We still have tons of opportunities to meet it beforehand. We have one coming up here on November 12th. We'll give all juniors and seniors who still need it the CLT 10. We'll give FSA and EOC retakes in December. We'll have the school day at ACT. We'll do an ACT non-reportable. So we'll have more opportunities, plus any of the weekend ones that you saw up there.
Now, will he be, I got one other question. Look, if he decides to take that 0.5 class of personal finance over the summer, will he still get his choice of going to Lachlan, or does he have to do it before?
He will need to let them know, or he needs to let his guidance counselor know so that we can let them know that he's taking it.
Because they look at those applications in June.
Yeah.
So they want to see the requirements
Yeah.
met before.
So it would be better to do it before, but if he's not going to do it until the summer, then we need to know so we can let them know, because they won't see it.
It's always better in anything not to wait till the last minute for your Bright Futures test, for everything. Try and get all that stuff out of the way sooner rather than later.
What did you say?
I said, does he let Lachlan know or let his guidance counselor?
Let us know and we'll let them know. Okay, what was your question?
I don't know if you might have already said this, but the person, I know, so my other kids are older and their personal finance is different. So this one, personal finance is a half credit. This is an online only class?
No.
No, we do offer it here. So some of the kids are in it on campus. Some kids have chosen to take it, number one, because it's only a half credit. So what we have to do if they take it on campus is we pair it with another half credit. Which for the younger guys, we have easily paired it now with driver's ed because now the state is requiring that. But a lot of you guys already had your license and got out of that. Or they had already taken driver's ed, and so they didn't need that. The other reason people take it online is because there is an honors version, but we don't offer it on campus. It is only offered online. So yeah, so some kids will take it online because they want the honors, and some kids are taking it online really just because they don't want to have to deal with it on campus. Because it's a half credit, they can do it pretty quick now. Ms. Hinton, who's another guidance counselor, her daughter did it in 2 weeks. My child took like 20 weeks and got kicked out of it, and now has had to sign up for it again. So, you know, they can do it quickly, or they can be lazy and get kicked out. But, you know, he made his bed, so he's going to lie in it. Do it over again. That's fine. I don't care. He's a junior.
Things to think about, the work experience community service. Again, research your next steps. Do look at colleges online, but go to the college. Scholarships, that is one. There's a lot on the guidance for a thing. I think we have another slide that'll have some other scholarship websites. The test prep, if you still need to make sure you pass your Algebra EOC or your ELA. Raising your GPA, especially if you have an F, because if you have an F, you didn't get the credit, but retaking and course recovery for Ds. If your GPA is like under, especially, and just over a 2.0, just like don't wait till the last minute. It's nice that, not that I want you to get Ds your senior year, but it is always nice to have a cushion, okay? Getting ready for the next step. This is something I am not super well versed on, the honor grad. I'm still trying to learn all this. Miss Letty's explained it to me 3 times, and I'm thick. I still don't get it, so I'll let you know.
So graduating as an honor grad from Milton High School, those are the guys who wear the honor hood with their cap and gown. These are the students. They have to have at least a 3.8 unweighted and or a 4.2 weighted GPA. They have to have taken at least 8 accelerated courses, which are honors, dual enrollment, or AP. At least 2 of them have to be AP classes. And we don't round up, so it has to be that GPA. And then they will receive their honor hoods. Okay, so it's a huge deal to a lot of the kids that, you know, they just really want to be an honor grad. They need to understand that the closer they get to the end, the harder it is to move that GPA. So, you know, a lot of them will come to, I had one like 2 weeks ago come to me, and we look at it after December of their senior year, so that's when we can name it. Otherwise, we wouldn't know who made it until after graduation. So that after December, those December report cards is the last chance we have to look at it. I had somebody come to me like 2 weeks ago, and she has like a 3.2 GPA, and she wanted to know what she had to do to make honor grad. It's not possible. You cannot in one semester bring it from a 3.2 to a 3.8. It's not going to happen. So the closer you get to the end, the harder it is to make changes in that GPA. I was going to say something else about it. I think I was going to say the December thing. So we do look at it in December. We don't round, and they have to meet this. Okay.
I don't think that's one thing I missed on last year.
That senior pictures was from last year.
It's one thing I missed on. So the transcripts, though, the bottom right, ignore the senior pictures. That will happen in the spring. Transcripts, Ms. Grace, of your guidance, if you need those for 24 hours Common App. You don't need that yet, but you will start needing that early your senior year. So keep that in mind. If you apply on Common App, that is by far the easiest, because Common App it's not every college, but it's a bunch, like almost in the thousands now. Mainly colleges from like the West Coast colleges, there's still some, but it's mainly colleges from like Midwest to East are on Common App. Most likely the ones that our students will go to, unless you're sending your kid to Alaska State or something like that. Common App is a very beautiful thing. The kids fill it out. They have their essay on there, the letter of rec if needed, and your counselor takes, depending on how fast we move with the computer, 5 to 10 minutes to upload everything. You don't have to order the transcript because we do. For ordering transcripts, that means, let's say you just want to apply to UF on the UF website, as an example, or Spring Hill, on the Spring Hill website, not through Common App, then you have to order the transcripts. So when the time comes, use Common App as much as feasible. Certain ones you're going to want to still apply using their specific college application. Juniors, among everything else we've talked about, a lot of this is kind of rehashing, but getting ready for college, getting ready for career. No, that does not say job, it says career. There is a big difference. We want you to be career ready. You might have to have a job while you're doing that, but we want you to be career ready, whether it's doing a CTE program. Here, Laughlin, Pensacola State has a bunch of those, but making sure that you're career ready. The military, as I said, I did 25 years active in reserve. It's not for everybody, but for the right person, it can be a beautiful thing. So not always fun, but a beautiful thing. The workforce. You want to make sure we're going to this year reinforce your grad requirements, how to reach your goals. The worst thing, and I told my seniors when I met with them already in September, October, do not be that person in the parking lot in the football stadium, or the stadium, there's other sports there that are played anyway, at the stadium, saying, gee, that was fun. What am I going to do now? Your guidance counselor, if they hear that, is liable to become very unglued, even though you've already graduated. You need to have a plan. What are the requirements, your goals, what's going to happen? Create the plan, okay? That last one, especially for students, I said it earlier, we'll reiterate. Be proactive. Do not wait. That doesn't mean you have to come see us every day. There's a couple students that were in there in the guidance office every day, if not every hour. You don't have to come out that much, but yes, I'm looking at one now. So make sure that you do still come see your counselor and ask questions. All right? As Ms. Letty said, there is no such thing as a too simple, too dumb question. It's your life. Especially students that are here, it's your life. Be proactive. Because when you're in college, you are on your own. My two that are there now, they are on their own. Lord help the little ones. Important dates, this was mentioned by Ms. Lady, the ACT on campus, February 24th. Individual meetings, Ms. Barnhill had mentioned that when we talk about scheduling, the DOC testing, usually beginning of May. Final exams at the end of May. I don't have the exact dates for these here. We have it for seniors.
And semester exams in December.
Yeah, semester in December. First day of school, I was looking for a calendar, it should be on there. I couldn't find it, but it's usually probably going to be like the 10th. We do college application days. Like I said, UWF was here, PSC was here, and there's another one that is, I can't remember which one, if it was UAB or USA. They want to do application days here too. They've reached out. So there will be colleges that come do them on our campus. The best thing about it is they waive the application fee when they come to our campus to do this. So students, pay attention. Walk into the cafeteria. Look at the colleges that might be there. Bright Futures, Ms. Barnhill mentioned, opens October 1st. The good old FAFSA, the Federal Financial Aid. If you have older students, children, you know what a joy that is to fill out. We will do at least one. We have one coming up in November. Even though you're juniors, you can still come hear it. It is the 21st, I believe. It's like the Thursday before Thanksgiving break. We're doing a FAFSA night where PSC will be here. You can't fill it out for your junior until next year, but that's one of those things you might want to hear it more than once. Many, as I said earlier, have application deadlines, especially for early action, early decision, mid-October. I mentioned that there's going to be some more. This is by no means exclusively the only scholarship stuff, but these are some sites out there, the more common ones that are out there for scholarship sites. There is tons of money, and they will have scholarships for some of the weirdest, most offbeat things you can imagine. All right, I mean, every time I say it, I get in trouble because it's politically incorrect. But you could have all kinds of different parts to your background, and there's a scholarship for you. Okay.
Anything that makes you unique. So a couple years
a
ago,
good
we got sent one that was for tall people. So it was like any female above 5'10" and any male above 6'2" or something like that. We're eligible for this scholarship. So I always tell the kids, we get sent things and we will send them on Remind, which is why it's so important at the end to make sure you and your child are on the Remind, because every scholarship we get sent, we will send out through there. But we don't hunt scholarships for you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's money to you, so you guys hunt them outside of that. I always tell the kids, anything that makes you unique. There are scholarships for everything. All different heritages, races, any of that. If you have a parent who has died, if you have a parent incarcerated, if you have red hair, if you have green eyes, you can find scholarships for all kinds of things. Like I just said, people who are super tall. Like, why does that get you a scholarship? Who knows? But if they're offering it, take it. Okay? It is money in your pocket that can lessen that. But search for it. Like,
That's your
scholarship
job.
for people with freckles. Like, look for it. If it's there, apply for it. If it's too good to be true, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Make sure it seems reputable. But there are some scholarships out there that, you wouldn't believe. So anything that makes you unique, look
That's
at
a
it.
good way to put it.
Yes.
I think it is free and reduced lunch. Okay, this is important if you qualify.
Very.
Huh?
Very.
Because just because you apply and qualify does not mean you have to eat free lunch every day. You certainly can. But it is very, very important because there are other benefits to that, especially fee waivers for your college applications, for the clearinghouse, for SAT, ACT, and AP. So the application is right there under food services. Nobody's going to put the scarlet letter on you. Oh, you have free lunch, whatever. Nobody
Nobody
doesn't happen.
knows.
Okay, the only one that knows is you come see your counselor. They will know. It goes into our computer and focus. We see it, not the world. You say I have a fee waiver. Boom, there you go. You don't have to pay to take those tests.
It can save you a lot of money.
$60 at least now. I think they are for SAT.
Yeah, per test, and it can pay for all of that, and then all your college applications it can pay for.
That,
So
believe me, that adds up too. So.
yes.
All right, things to do. The next slide will have the codes. Please join the remind. Don't make sure you get really. The Milton High School Facebook page, the free and reduced lunch app we just talked about. Talk to your student about future plans. Again, the visits, different recruiters, be it college or military recruiters, the internships and shadowing. That, depending upon what you want to do, can become a big thing too. My oldest daughter is going to major in athletic training. She's hoping to she's a sophomore in college now. She's looking for an internship, a place to shadow somebody this summer when she's home. So that can also start applying even earlier. Some places have a requirement that you have to be 18, especially medical stuff. But a lot of times there are internship shadowing opportunities that, oh, by the way, will also count possibly for volunteer hours. This, if you're going to take one picture, make sure you take this one. The remind codes. Now that I finally got my remind, thank you, Miss Letty, figured out up and running, I'm sending stuff out now too. For my alphabet, have I think at the most 2 juniors so far that have signed up. So please make sure you do sign up. You go to the Remind app, and if you're still not sure, it's like
8-10-10.
Yeah, 81010 on the Remind app, and then you put that in. So
Well, you don't have to do the 8-10-10 on the app.
no, you download the app and then you go to right?
Or you can just text message.
So you can if you have an app or you want to download the app, then you can just search this and join the class. If you don't have the app and you don't want to have the app, then you can just go to your text messages. The number that you text is 81010, like that's the phone number you're texting. And then in the message, you would type the @Refin27 @Barnhill27 or whatever. That's the message you're sending to the number 81010. Or you can just join it on the app if you have the app.
Okay, so that's been a lot of information for the
Lots of
academic side. Are there any questions? Yes? Was that it, Wade? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I guess we didn't really cover it. Are there college fairs like maybe Pensacola or how will that be advertised?
Yes. So typically Pensacola State does a college fair. This year it was in August, late
Yeah,
August,
they didn't
early
let us
September. It wasn't advertised very well. But I once it wasn't advertised, I said, I want to make sure I get them all. Please don't hide them on page 10. So they do one for sure. They do one for our South Santa Rosa. They do one for North Santa Rosa, and that's usually at the Milton campus. So that's a really good one to go to. And that's the biggest one that I know of.
Yeah, and that's the closest one. We went to a training today with USA, and we're gonna try to set up a JAG day? Is that what it's called? We're gonna try to set that up in sometime in the spring, where we actually take kids to USA and they do a big tour with them or whatever. Like Mr. Ireland was saying, it's really good to go to these places. You don't really want to. I mean, you are welcome to if you want to, but most people can't travel to 20 different schools to look at them. Usually your child has it narrowed down to 2 or 3 that they're super interested in. It's really good to go to those, but this would help them go at least to USA. They do get 2 school function days, which means it doesn't count as an absence for them. They have to get it prearranged through guidance, but if you wanted to take like a Friday off and drive to UF or drive to UCF or drive to Alabama or whatever you wanted to do, they do get those 2 days. And that can be a college visit or a military visit. So like if they have to go to MEPS or something, they can use it for that. Sorry. But, you know, that's good. But the college fair, they didn't let us know. We actually found out the day of the college fair at a training off campus with another college. They told us that they were going to be there. We had not even heard about it. So, but hopefully next time we'll.
And throughout the year, we have several colleges that will come and set up in the cafeteria during lunches. We usually have about 1 a week that comes in and visits that has brochures. Sometimes they bring in swag. So there's lots of opportunities to talk to different folks here. We have some clubs and organizations that will take field trips. I think Beta and Alpha Theta did Florida State last year. So we have different organizations that will also plan those if it's hard, because it's hard to go to everything, especially, you know, when you're trying to look at all of them and you don't really have focus yet, and that's okay.
When are they eligible for those 2 days this year?
It's 2 through high school, so they could use like 1 this year and 1 next year. Most of them save them till senior year because they kind of wait until they've gotten some acceptances in, and then, you know, say, okay, well, I was accepted to these 4 schools. Let's try to visit them. But they can use it junior year.
And that USA Day, you guys are setting up.
Yes.
How do they go about signing up for that?
So we just found out that they even offer those today. So we have to sit down. I probably should have talked to my boss before I just mentioned that.
Sounds like a great
But she went out the training, so she hadn't even heard it. But
Sounds like a great one.
yeah, but I mean, they said that they do them. They actually bring their athletic buses and come pick us up and take us. So whenever the information comes about and however we end up doing it, the information will go out on Remind. So make sure you're on the Remind.
Not trying to push USA, but again, we were there today. They offer in-state tuition waivers for Santa Rosa and Escambia County. Other schools will do that. My youngest is way far away, as far as you can go from here. Georgia Southern, certain schools in Georgia will do tuition waivers. So think of that. Students and parents, this is not on this thing, but just from experience, it is good to have, on one hand, you don't want to be the dream crusher, but on the other hand, you got to be realistic. If you really want to go somewhere like Syracuse, out of state, big money, and you're, as a student, you're determined to go there, and your parents are like, we don't have the money. Have some of those discussions now. So come May 1st of your senior year, when the money's due to the colleges, there's not a lot of heartache. You know, they did say up there, kind of talk about it. We want you to explore the colleges, but everyone, again, is in their own situation. So make sure you understand. Have a chat with, you know, have a family chat about what's realistic. Your mom may not want you to be going 14 hours away like my kid is in West Virginia, okay? Trying to get her back closer to home. So that might be a piece too. Your mom might want you to go 14 hours away. So make sure you have those discussions now.
And listen, we're talking a lot about college, but college is not for everyone. We want to talk to your child, and you talk to your child, and we want to find out what their goals are. Like my oldest, not a college kid, he would have probably dropped out of high school if I had let him. But he is at George Stone in trade school and loves it. He is going to graduate in December at 20, and he's going to immediately make more than I do, which is sickening. But it's great. So, you know, we have lots of kids who go military. Lots of kids. We have so many different paths, and it's not about us telling your kid what they, you know, you need to do this, you need to do that. We want to talk to your child and find out what their goals are and help them lay a path to meet that goal, whatever it is. Okay? We just don't know that if they don't come talk to us. Sometimes they don't like to talk to us, but they talk to you. So, you know, if you know that's your kid, then let us know what their goal is, and we can try to help them lay a straight path to it. They'd probably get there eventually, but they may waste some time or whatever doing some things that, you know, maybe they think they need to go to college, but they don't need to go to college to do what they're trying to do or whatever. So
Lots of different ways to get where you're going. It's
absolutely. And people are going all different places. We want to help them get wherever it is that they and you want them to get.
All right, one thing I want to also mention, and this is something that I wish I had known. I've got a junior in college. When we got time for senior year, everything kind of hit. And when you're on a fixed income, you get, you know, your paycheck is set, and all of a sudden you get all these surprises that start popping up. It's kind of one of those things I wish I had known before, right? Okay, so starting your senior year, about April or May, you're going to get information to sign up for their senior portraits. Their senior portraits are going to happen over the summer. They're here at the school, but you're going to sign up early and quickly because those slots fill up fast. There usually are always makeups once the school year starts, but it's better if they can get them during the summer. And then they're going to ask, do you want to buy those portraits? Okay, if your daughter or son is like mine, they're going to say yes, buy everything. Okay, so that's where it starts. And then they start looking at all their applications. Every time you apply to a school, you're going to usually have to pay $15, $25, $30 per application, unless you have those waivers. And so looking at, I know, like we applied for several Alabama schools. We found the free Alabama weekend.
Yep. And
we applied to several Alabama schools because it was their free weekend. So it's good to research those, know ahead of time when those are going to happen. And every state has something like that, so that you can do it. When PSC and UWF come here, they waive fees as well. So it's really good to research that and kind of plan. Am I going to pay $500 for applications, or am I going to try and finagle that a little bit?
But they don't need to apply to every place in the country.
Correct. Okay, so sorry, go ahead.
When do you suggest that they start applying for the colleges?
Most applications don't open until August 1st or September 1st
Of
their senior year.
August 2nd of this year.
Yeah, but I would say have a list the summer before.
Reasonable.
A reasonable list. Some people, here's my reach school. You know, I would love to go to Harvard. Here is my safety school. You know, so it's really good to have, okay, this is where I would be very happy with, but oh my gosh, wouldn't it be cool if I could go to somewhere? And then maybe my dream school where I've always wanted to go. So those are always good to have. This week we did cap and gown, or I guess it was last week. This week, I'm so lost. We did cap and gown packets for the students, for seniors. For juniors, we did ring orders. So about this time next year, you're going to get a cap and gown order. Every student has to order the same cap and gown from Herff Jones. That's about a $60 fee. And the price goes up from there because he also brings all the swag. And that means they're going to get the sweatpants with the class of 27 on them, or the zip up, or the hoodie, or the ball cap, the mug. They have lots of swag. The invitations that you can use later on in the year, the notifications. So they're going to have lots of things, and that bill can quickly add up from $60 to $250. Okay? So that's just something to consider. You do not have to get invitations. The only thing you have to get from them is the cap and gown.
Yeah.
Real quick, so with my other kids, we just pass down the cap and gown. Can I do that with my fourth kid? Can we just?
We say no because the die lots are different and their sizes are different, their heights are different. And when they order their cap and gown, it's specific to their height, their weight, so that it fits them properly and that it doesn't look faded. Everybody looks the same. You can definitely tell. We had somebody last year try to get one off of Amazon, and it came in and they just stood out like a sore thumb because it was shiny and shimmery. But if there's a problem with that, again, with the cost of it, we are here to help because we do have probably the classiest graduation in Santa Rosa County. And that's one thing that we can pride ourselves. It looks fantastic out at that stadium under those lights. Our kids are amazing. So we want to help anybody. They will also have a dress code that they have to wear under their gown. And we'll talk about that closer to that as well. But it's basically the black and white so that it goes along with that. So if they have any specifics, we can answer those. In addition, at the beginning of the year, some students want to get their yearbook because it's their senior year and they want that last yearbook. That's going to be about an $80 fee. Some parents want to add the senior ads that go in that yearbook. Those start at about $75 for a quarter of a page and go up from there, okay? In the spring, they're going to get an opportunity to have their cap and gown pictures. Those are different from their senior portraits because the senior portraits are just the drapes and the tux shot. The cap and gown is in the gown with the cap on it, so some students want that one as well. And then the other things that come in, if your child wants their senior pictures out in the field full of sunflowers and the sunlight coming down. Okay, my child wanted that as well. Or the beach pictures. So we have several who want their senior picture taken. And then you have the other prom, homecoming, bow dance, senior party, or graduation parties. So there's lots of things that come up. And it's just one of those, had I known beforehand, I might have had a savings account for it. You know, just to put a little bit away. Okay, any questions about any of that?
Can get expensive.
And those optional things, of course. But when you start seeing friends do it, then they want to do it. And, you know, so it becomes, how do I make the senior year the best that it can be, right? So and I know we all want to help and do for our kids. So I just put that out there so that you can start thinking, what will my kid want? How do we help reach those goals for them? Okay.
I was fortunate enough to have 2 seniors in a row. So 2 years in a row. So
Yeah. I was fortunate to have one and done. So, any questions at all? Okay, yes, ma'am.
When you just spoke of the 2 pictures, you said that they're doing it this spring that's coming up, or the one that the senior year?
This spring coming up, so about March, April, they will open up the Sign Up Genius for summer picture slots. And they will do it during summer vacation. Usually it's July. And they'll come up here and they take it. It's usually in the ag room. And they'll take that one. That's the one that goes in the yearbook. That's the drape. And then later on, after Christmas, is when they do the cap and gown pictures. Okay. And they can go to Kay Brown, who does our senior portraits. They can go to her studio and do them there as well. But they just do kid after kid for a couple days. All right. Yes.
So do they have to make their own portrait, or does it have to be something that's like, yeah?
The one that goes in the yearbook has to be done by the photographer here or at her studio. But if they want to do outside ones just for you to have, that is absolutely. Yeah, but the one that goes in the yearbook has to be done here.
Okay. Do they still charge the seniors a fee for their yearbook?
Yeah, there's a sitting fee for that. I think it was $10, $7 or $10.
I mean, that's good to notify it.
Yeah, yes, there is a sitting fee for the capping or for the senior portraits that go in there. Yeah. Okay. If there are, yes.
Just because I want to know, but let's say we don't get the senior portrait done, and then there's remakes or whatever, but let's say something happens and we don't get it done. So what would go in its place in the yearbook? Just a not pictured sign or something? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you all so much for coming. If you have any specific individual questions, we'll be available for a few minutes. Please come see us. We appreciate you very much. Have a great night.